Thank you very much everyone for having me and welcome along to the event. I've really enjoyed hearing from Ben and from Rob. As it says on the screen, I'm Alex Gledhill and I'm the retail manager at Intel within the UK. And I'm here to talk to you about the Chief Experience Officer, which is what I believe is the differentiator in how to adopt digital within retail and within hotels and hospitality as well. I must say up front, I work all my time in retail, and hotel and hospitality isn't my bag, but I think that a lot of the concepts that I'm going to say is applicable as well. So I wanted to set the scene to begin with. So retail is evolving at a rapid pace, it really is. And I think you've got a perfect storm that's happening, these three things, and you'll see in my presentation that there's a bit of a theme of lists of three. So there are three things that are happening. Firstly, shopping is changing. You'll hear the words multi-channel, omni-channel all the time. People are choosing to purchase things online rather than perhaps in store, and the current shift is towards mobile. Consumers are changing. With that choice of being able to shop online or in store, the consumers are looking for the experience which is perhaps the most enjoyable or the easiest, or just the way that they want to interact with their retailer or perhaps their hotel as well. But perhaps the challenge, and this is why it's a perfect storm, this is why there's maybe a problem here and why it's evolving so quickly, is that retailers are not changing quick enough perhaps. We've seen a lot of major retailers go out of business over the last 18 months, and perhaps they have not moved with the times and maybe adopted online or changed the way that they interact with their customers in store. So new models of engaging with consumers need to emerge. It's bringing together bricks and mortar with online so that you get two bites of the pie, so that you're successful in both ways. And as I go into the talk I'm going to give for the next 15 minutes or so, I think there are three things that I'm going to talk about. Firstly, I'll introduce the idea of the Chief Experience Officer. Secondly, I will look at the experience continuum, so the different devices, and similar to what we've heard from Rob and from Ben, different devices, different horses for different courses that are appropriate to create a seamless experience across online and in store. And then the final thing, and this is the most important, and your questions for Ben just then were all around what is the return on investment? What is the value of doing all of this? And that's perhaps one of the most challenging things to face, and it must be thought of up front before you take on projects like this, because you need to understand what success criteria is. Introducing the Chief Experience Officer then. So I've got my new sticker up in the top right-hand corner as you look at it. And perhaps you may have heard this term before, but I believe that this is starting to be mentioned more and more this year. I did a bit of a Google search and a Wikipedia search as well as to what other people were writing as a definition, and I couldn't come up with a clear standard for this. But what I believe we're trying to achieve with the idea of having somebody as a Chief Experience Officer is that the problem we're trying to solve, until senior executives take responsibility for the experiential value their organisation creates, the retailer will not evolve quick enough. That perfect storm will continue to happen. Giving your consumers, your customers, your stakeholders, your employees value is very important if you want to have a long-term success. So for me, the CXO is a creative and board-level person. It is essential that they are thinking innovatively about how to best engage with their consumer, but also they need to be at that board level. We heard from Ben just then around, I think it'd be fair to say that the most important decision maker is the GM who is saying, I wanted that projector in the lobby. I think that when you've got somebody who is at that board level who's saying, we need interaction, we need digital, we need to make sure that our consumers are delighted, then you're successful. So the CXO also has this outside-in view on the organisation, and they're looking at how can I best relate to my employees, my stakeholders, and my customers to drive value, more value. So a CXO deeply understands, they deeply understand their customer. What does this customer actually want? The CXO also finds new ways to appeal with their customers as well. And as we go into the next session here today, you'll see new ways of interacting with your customers. And very importantly, there needs to be a long-term strategy for how you continue to delight your customers. Everybody knows, I mean, in retail, and I'm sure it's the same in hotel and hospitality, loyalty is so important. You want to bring people who've had a successful experience, a great experience within your hotel or in store, back in again, because I know statistically that people who shop both online and in store spend more. So looking at numbers with a major department store, they know that if that customer goes into their store and purchases online, they're going to spend much more than someone who only purchases online or only purchases in store. And then finally, this is a bit more fluffy, my final point about what the Chief Experience Officer actually is, but they go beyond the norms. There's somebody who is thinking, I won't say out of the box creatively, I know they're cliches, but innovation can be a differentiator. And by giving customers the messages they want to hear, rather than shouting loudly at people, then maybe you're going to have a better interaction, a better partnership, better relationship with the person that you are trying to impress the most. So when you've established a Chief Experience Officer, and there are a couple of retailers that do have them, creating value for your customer, for you as the retailer, I like this phrase, experience continuum, which suggests that all of those things that we've heard in both Rob and Ben's presentations, as well as mine, that it's seamless between all of these different things. So a display here could show the same thing as this display. It's also at the back end. It could be on your mobile device. It could be on your client. And this is the true connected store. And that is why being networked, like we heard, is so important, because you want to be able to interact between the different devices. From an Intel standpoint then, so the previous slide was more my views on the world. From an Intel standpoint, these are the areas of focus as a global innovator in IT and technology. We are focusing on these 6 areas. So digital racks are a big area of focus, and we've got a similar type kiosk device, this POS system that is on display later, which is looking at our latest development in the tablet area, the notebook area, which is called the Ultrabook. So being able to interact with different products which are available both online and in store. Social kiosks, we had a good example of Twitter feeds. That's a big trend as well at the moment, of having data that's on the device that is true real-time, true interaction, one-on-one relationships. We're seeing, I would say that is the buzzword of this year is social interaction, social networking with devices in store. Digital signage, I don't need to go into any detail on that one. Mobile, both applications, both interacting. We mentioned, I think I heard a bump from sending a map to the device. It could be near-field communication. There are many technologies out there. The technologies exist. It's finding the right solution for how you interact. Online, again, I don't think I need to go into too much detail on that one. And then targeted promotions. I think that's the next phase. I'm hearing less about targeted promotions being brought into reality this year, but there are plans at some major retailers in the next couple of years in that space. And this slide just, it's a few pictures about things that we've worked on as Intel with major brands. But my point here is that what all of these projects, and what the most successful projects that I've seen, achieve best is that they start with a real-world problem, something that needs to be solved. And you know what? It's not going to be done by people, it's going to have to be done by technology. And in a world that we're in at the moment with recession, tight budgets, technology is a heck of a lot cheaper than people. So what Intel does is we work with partners, we work with Simon, we work with HH as well here, to create a partnership to work with customers to create a unique experience. So if I go into the Adidas one, so we've got a Macy's kiosk here, we've got an Adidas wall of shoes, and the device that you'll see at the back there is for Dixon's, which is displaying Ultrabooks. So if I talk a little bit about Adidas and take a step back, so they, I believe, do have a chief experience officer. This came from a board-level marketing executive. He doesn't have the title, but he certainly has the traits and qualities of a CXO, where what they were looking to achieve was to create online, in-store, interactive experience with customers as they come into their flagship stores within each of the countries. And people go into those flagship stores but don't necessarily buy. People go in there because they're usually quite a spectacle, they're quite large, they're in a prime retail position. So what they wanted to do at Adidas was to try a promotion that was very interactive on the Messi boot. The footballer Messi brought out an Adidas shoe last year, and they found that this interactive way of displaying the shoe, where people could flick through different colours, they could design, they could choose from different colours, they could find out more information at their fingertips, like you'd be able to do online, led to a sales increase of 5 times compared to a comparable size store that is also in Europe. This was in London on Oxford Street. And so I think that they managed to achieve their goal. So they had the experience officer, they chose an interactive, very feature-rich, great experience for the customer. Also, most importantly, led to having a successful return on investment, which led to more sales, which is what they wanted to achieve. The business problem for Macy's, I won't go into any, that was kind of a detailed explanation of one, but Macy's was that they wanted more control over the brands. As you can imagine, within a department store environment, the cosmetic brands have a lot of power. They're the first that you see as you walk into the store, and having, Estee Lauder is a must, and having MAC is a must. Having all these different brands is essential, which means that they can be quite demanding on the department store for what they want. So Macy's managed to get a bit of power back by being able to have information on a single source and let people choose where they wanted to shop. And then finally, the device in the bottom right is for displaying Ultrabooks in PC World and Dixon's. So our latest laptops that we are helping bring to market, and it is a way of giving the customers all the information they need. Some people don't like interacting with the sales assistant. Perhaps they want to know lots of information and technical knowledge, or maybe it's the complete extreme where they want to know how to use a laptop rather than only can get bombarded with technical information. So it gives you choice in a kiosk environment as to how you would like to find out more about the products on display. So I do believe that the CXO is a retail differentiator. I wanted to conclude really with actions speak louder than words is what I was thinking, that, putting this into practice, it's very easy for me to stand up here and say this, but putting it into practice, having someone who is strategically aligned to a digital strategy is difficult. I do appreciate that, but it is essential for these projects to be a success long term. Understanding the technologies available, today's a wonderful showcase for exactly that, to see what is available in the market and making sure it's seamless interaction between them, and solving a real business problem mean, I can't emphasize this enough, that just putting it in a piece of technology for technology's sake, it is not about what these things are, it's about what they do. So how is it going to impact your business, and how are you going to measure that with true value dollars? I think I'm the only thing that's holding us between a break and the interactive session, but if you've got any questions, I'm very willing to take them now, or we can have a chat over coffee, or maybe over some demonstrations. Thank you very much.